I'm gonna be honest and say Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2 was an absolute whirlwind. I really tried to take it in this morning, since as I wrote in my newsletter this week, these types of moments don't come around very often. Nintendo blew the doors off of next gen with an hour-long presentation. Some announcements were expected, and some are up there with the craziest in Nintendo history. There is just so much here, and I can't possibly do it justice all in one video. But today I wanted to mark this occasion by getting my strongest feelings out there. A sort of rapid-fire discussion with my biggest takeaways, before I discuss the rest in future videos. I like to focus on the games, that's what gets me excited, so I'm not going to talk about the whole business of pricing or the console specs. If that sounds good to you, let's reflect on what will go down as a major day in Nintendo history, and one a lot of us will remember for years to come. We have our answer about what direction the Mario Kart series could go after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart World is exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2, and from this first trailer, we can see many new gameplay features. The ability to grind on railings and wall ride is one. There are also different outfits for the playable racers. My theory is that these glowing items are actually paper lunch bags which contain food, and by collecting these, you'll obtain a new skin for the character. But the big new gameplay hook, the one the game derives its title from, is of course the interconnected world this game takes place in. Not only do we have a free roam mode and a large open world map, we also have modes like the new Grand Prix, which doesn't just take place on the racetrack like in previous games, but also includes driving segments in between each course. I'm really interested to see how that will all work, and the upcoming Treehouse Live presentation should answer a lot of our questions. My favorite thing about Mario Kart World though, the character selection. Personally, I care about the character roster a lot. I was really into BCP speculation and have thought about the roster for this new game quite a bit. Seeing the expanded roster and unique character picks that are on display here made me extremely happy. I love that they're leaning into the more obscure creatures of the Mario universe. We saw characters I would have never expected to have been playable. Moo Moo, a Cataquack, Fishbone, and a Swoop generic bat enemy. It's unpredictable and wacky in the best way possible, and I haven't stopped smiling about it since. Mario Kart World was the star of the show for me today, and even after the upcoming Treehouses, we won't have to wait much longer to see more, since a dedicated direct for the game will be taking place on April 17th. I do think game chat is a really fun feature to have built in. I love the idea of native voice chat and screen sharing. The jury's still out on how well it'll work compared to third-party alternatives, but if Nintendo took the time to build it into the Switch's native software and is ready to sell the camera peripheral for it at launch, you have to think it'll be pretty legit. How it uses the console's built-in microphone and has automatic noise cancelling is really cool too. This led into the concept of Nintendo Switch 2 edition games, next-gen versions of popular games from Switch 1, sold as standalone Switch titles or as upgrade packs if you already own them. Titles include Super Mario Party Jamboree with mouse mode and camera support, Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting beautiful enhanced versions with a companion smartphone app that helps you find missing shrines and Koroks and helps you share auto-build creations with other users. This got one of the biggest pop-offs from me all day. It's amazing to see how good these already stunningly beautiful games look enhanced on next-gen hardware, and I don't think anything's gonna stop me from instantly replaying Tears of the Kingdom soon after launch. In maybe the most underrated announcement of the day, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting an enhanced version on Switch 2 with new story DLC. This is easily one of my favorite games on Switch 1, and I was shocked that it got featured here. I'll be running through the Star-Crossed World DLC as soon as I get my fill of Mario Kart on launch day. I can't wait for it, and it looks pretty substantial too, as we can see a new Spring Mouthful mode as well as new collectibles and areas. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is officially confirmed as a cross-gen title, as it's getting a Switch 2 version with fancier graphics and mouse mode support. Still no release date, but between between this news and the news we got in last week's General Direct, I'm over the moon excited for a game that's been a long time coming. In a similar vein, Pokemon Legends ZA is confirmed cross-gen as well, getting a dedicated Switch 2 version. Assuming this is day and date with the other versions, I'll be getting the Switch 2 edition, and even after today's craziness, this is still my personal most anticipated game of the year. Switch 2 itself arrives on June 5th. I actually predicted this exact date when the console was announced. Although I shouldn't pat myself on the back too much. This is the first Thursday after the final scheduled hands-on Switch 2 event, so it really wasn't that great of a prediction. But hey, I was happy about getting it right. I was really hoping to see a new IP in this direct, as those are few and far between. We did get that with Drag X Drive, a new motion control based basketball game exclusive to Switch 2. These type of experimental games are important to have on a Nintendo console, and I'm excited to see more soon, as it's one of the titles confirmed for the upcoming Nintendo Treehouse Live. I was also happy to see Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong show signs of life, two indie games I'm really looking forward to. It looks like they'll both make their way over to Nintendo Switch 2 later this year, making the lineup of great games headed our way absolutely stacked. Maybe my next biggest pop-off was the reveal of a Tears of the Kingdom Warriors game, something I thought makes a lot of sense for our Zelda series release in 2025. That's exactly what's happening with Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, an apparent Tears of the Kingdom prequel. I was nearly tearing up at the OST and how good the game looked, and just the fact we'll get to spend some more time in this world. There's even going to be new amiibo for all the sages, which is not only really cool for Zelda fans, but it's a great sign of life for amiibo in general, as I thought they might have been getting slowly phased out after we got none for Princess Peach Showtime or Echoes of Wisdom, besides the Wind Waker reprints, which kind of irked me considering we didn't get an Echoes of Wisdom Zelda. And speaking of Wind Waker, GameCube is coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Finally, the era of hoping for that during Directs is over, and I love the early game selection that was shown. It was great to see Pokemon Colosseum and XD, and I really loved seeing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Since I don't have that game, really want to play it, but it's really expensive on resale. Soul Calibur 2 was great to see coming at launch too. That's a pretty nostalgic one for me, so it'll be great to boot that up and mess around a little bit as Link. In one of the brand new Switch 2 game reveals, Kirby Air Ride is getting a sequel called Kirby Air Riders, also directed by Masahiro Sakurai. Air Ride is kind of a running joke in my family as one of the few Nintendo games I disliked as a kid. But to be fair, I never revisited it as an adult, and this sequel does look beautiful, so I'll probably give it a shot too when that comes out. I'm not sure why we're getting another exploration-style racing game alongside Mario Kart World this year. That's a little weird to me, but hey, I will try the game before I say anything else negative. But if a new Kirby Air Ride wasn't surprising enough, the final one more thing for this direct certainly was. As we faded into a jungle scene, I breathed a sigh of relief, mouthing to myself, finally 3D Mario. But I ended up getting completely jump scared by Donkey Kong. You know, I thought I'd be disappointed to not see a new 3D Mario game today, but if it means that Donkey Kong Bonanza exists, then I'm completely on board. This is a truly next-gen looking and feeling action-adventure 3D platformer, starring a redesigned Donkey Kong. At last, DK is getting a new game on Nintendo Switch, the first all-new adventure since Wii U's Tropical Freeze. And it's not a country game. This is a 3D Donkey Kong closer to Donkey Kong 64. There still seems to be a lot of Donkey Kong Country influence though, with the minecarts and some side-scrolling segments, which is awesome to see. And I'm so glad that this one is coming fairly soon in July. Bonanza just shot extremely high up my list of most anticipated games, and I can't wait to get this absolute stunner in my hands this summer. But I want to know what you're excited for. What were your favorite announcements of Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2? And what takeaways do you have heading out of a landmark presentation for Nintendo? I'd love nothing more than to start a conversation about it down in the comments section below. If you liked this, then stick around for many more Nintendo discussions like this one. My goal is sharing the joy of Nintendo games with other fans like myself, who can't get enough Nintendo in their daily lives. And that mission is even more important to me now at the dawn of an exciting new generation for the company. If you feel the same and it all sounds good to you, then like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you on board for all the Nintendo excitement to come. Thanks as always for watching and rocking with me for another Nintendo generation. I'll see you all in the next video.